I feel like I've got the opposite of imposter syndrome. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. When people choose you over everybody, come to you.
It's such a comforting feeling. If let's say you're stripping things from your mom's garage, somebody comes, they can see, I'm not going to pay 1,000 for this. I'll pay 300, I can see. You know.
Cool. Welcome to the Previdar couch. Everybody, we have the veteran, the amazing Thula Sindi. I mean, let's pick it up from that point, right? Having it been in the industry for such a long time, what are your thoughts about the industry now?
It's not so long. It's like, 16 years? I'm turning 40 this year.
And then 16 years is not long. Sweet 16. I see 16.
Well, this industry for me is the most fun I've ever had. You know, it's so dynamic. South Africa, the South African consumer for me is who I'm in a love affair with.
Okay.
You know, they have matured in a way that I could never even imagine. When I started my business, this was 2007, because I just worked a year at Vlisco and I started my own business after that.
Right.
We're coming out of that kind of South African renaissance, you know, with Stone Cherry, Sun Goddess, people celebrating South African fashion. But it was still kind of like an indulgence, like they were just supporting. It was a fever.
Right.
But now it has transcended into daily life. People just wear our clothing to go to work, you know, and that's what you want. You know, you don't want people to kind of go out of their way to support you, but to just enjoy what you do.
Sure.
And whether it's streetwear, whether it's formal wear, whether it's anything, South African consumers just love us, and that's great.
Sure. Has there been a consistent theme to your career, or does it change all the time?
There's been a consistent theme. You know, when I first started, I always was looking at everyone else thinking, I don't want to create dessert. I want to create the meat and potatoes. You know, everyone is making all these things for special occasions, and it's fun. But then you look at all of the retailers, and you're like, what are people wearing to work on Mondays? What are people wearing to boardrooms? What are people wearing on holiday? We need, as South African designers, to be filling that niche as well. That's where I came in. I was like, I want to make the most beautiful ready-to-wear, and I want to solve women's problems. That's what I'm going to do. I don't know what else the other people are doing. This is what I'm going to do. So that's been constant. That's been constant. It's evolved, but it's been constant.
So it's always about the consumer and being comfortable every day.
Comfortable and elevated. You know, I love clothes. I don't like fashion. I like clothes. I like a skirt. I love a jacket. I love the components that create clothes and make them things of beauty. So fashion and the fashion industry, it's a byproduct of creating the clothes. But I'm involved with the clothes and the customer.
That's your love affair.
That's my love affair. That's what I love to do.
Let's take it back to when the love affair started budding, or when you noticed, my God, I love clothes. Take me way back then.
That has to start with my childhood. Like, I'm very close to my parents. My parents are lovely. I've got an older brother. We're a very small family, just us four.
Okay.
But now I've got nieces and a sister-in-law. And my mom always used to dress up. My parents were very social people, you know, and we used to have a babysitter because my parents would go out.
Okay.
But the dress up, and this person was my mom. When she'd come out and it was dressed beautifully, we knew we don't touch mommy. After she's dressed, we don't touch mommy.
Okay.
And she would transform, you know, in this wonderful way. And I'm like, I'd love to make clothes. And I was always very artistic, but I'm from a very creative family. So it was encouraged, you know. I thought I was going to go into fine art. And when I decided to, no, I want to make clothes. I want to create all the things that I love. I love color, I love proportion, but make it into a product that's dynamic. And it happened. My journey is very linear. Nothing, no
I'm waiting for the
detours.
Come on.
I'm such a driven person. I've always known what I wanted to do. And I know how to get to where I need to get to. And that makes me a bit different from everybody else. But in a good way, because I can also use that to help my fellow creatives.
So when you started with fashion, was it popular then?
Oh, back in the old time.
I mean, was it popular? I mean, over time, I can jump into it.
It's always, you know, the things that as a business, it hadn't quite matured enough for it to be a valid option. Yes, it's still tough now. You know, when a person says, I want to go be a fashion designer, you're like, oh, why don't you go be a doctor or an accountant? But it has gotten better. There's now more examples of designers who it's their life. They're not moonlighting or something else. They make clothes, they get to live, they have cars, they go on holiday, they build families. And but we had the right foundation. We had all the people before us that managed to make it into like a valid career path. And I'm hoping I'm doing the same. People like David as well, Gavin, all the other amazing designers. We've got a new crop of people like both Tebe and Rich, you know, that's Cindy. So they're all doing the same for the next generation. So no, it's more stable. I think it's a stable choice. And the South African consumer is the one that's making it a stable choice because they're choosing to buy our products and they make it viable for us.
For it to be a lucrative career path, I'm assuming it takes a lot from you as well, right? What are those little nuances around you or characteristics that have made your career so stable?
Well, for me, I'm sort of a little bit smart.
Okay,
So I'm good with numbers. I'm good with information. I know how to translate information into results. I know how to predict where things are going. Because the information tells you, the customer tells you. If you listen and you're in tune with people, and that's what being a creative is about. And also being not just a fashion designer, but even a visual artist or a musician, you need to be in tune with your times. And that's meaning that you are listening to things, you're looking at things, you see what people want, and you filling that gap. For me, it's knowing what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, and knowing what to ask for. I always knew that I want to be in retail. For Black entrepreneurs and Black creatives, especially to make money, especially in the fashion industry, we need to be where people are spending money. And that's not luxury economy or the back of a boot. It's in the shopping centers where South Africans are spending money. That's where we need to be. And that's why they make it so hard for us to be in those spaces. So,
But I mean, if people like yourself have penetrated, it's doable.
It is doable. When I first opened my stores, the Thula Sindi stores, I expected there was going to be a flood of other designers behind me. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, nothing. Then I said, no. I need to do this for the rest of my industry because there's designers that I think are even more talented than me. And there's impressive young designers who are doing amazing stuff. Why can't I create a store space that stocks all of us? So when a consumer can walk into a shop in Sandton, in Menlyn, in Joburg City, they can find everyone from me to David Tale to a third-year student who makes brilliant knit jerseys, you know, and that's what I've managed to create now for the last 3 years.
What does fashion mean to you?
Fashion means solving problems. You know, my life has always, I just thought, when you open your wardrobe, you should see solutions, not problems. You open your wardrobe and these beautiful choices that you've made. Because for me, buying clothes is like building a library. You know, you pick these pieces that you love and you're going to build and build.
You're very smart.
So that's how I approach design, and that's how I approach my personal shopping. You know, and I would say to people, it doesn't matter if you buy from fast fashion brands, just buy carefully. The issue is that we want to buy cheap stuff and buy a truckload of it. That's what's creating the problem. We need to kind of alter ourselves and say, okay, I'm a grown-up person. I know what I like. I know my favorite colors. I know my favorite things. I won't chase things that don't relate to me. I want to build what I love. And it doesn't mean it has to be boring. But it has to be you. And you can something, because clothes last for so long, 50, 100 years. Even badly made clothes, if you take care of them, they'll last. So it's about just buying carefully. So that's how I design. That's how I approach fashion. And that's what I impart to my customers to say, guys, I'm really thinking about this when I create this. So I need you to think about this when you buy it. I'm not trying to say, buy my entire collection, every single. No. Even if you buy 1 or 2 beautiful things, I'll stay in business. Don't worry about it. You know?
I'm sorted.
But I need you guys to just thinking better because I'm designing better all the time to make that beautiful product.
So with the better, right, what do you do to always improve on the craft?
Well, great fabrication. Looking at what's worked before, seeing how we can elevate that. Looking at our society and what are the needs of women. Because when you're designing clothes, you're just doing 2 things. You are preempting need and you're also creating need. Because remember, we're not clothing naked people. So no one is desperately running around saying, I need something to cover myself. Everyone's got clothes. But you need to like create something.
I need that.
I always needed a yellow polka dot jumpsuit. You know? So proposing this thing that has not really kind of existed in that form and making somebody want it. You know, but at the same time, serving a need where people don't. You look around, a person will say, I don't have white shirts. And you go everywhere, no one wants to make a white, beautiful shirt because everybody thinks everybody wants print. Then you fill that need. So you need to do both of those things to stay in business.
Sure.
So that's how I approach fashion and approach the modality of it.
As much as there's a new crop of designers, the ones that want to get into designing, do you think such information is available to them so they learn, this is how I should approach, my craft of being a designer?
Oh, not you gonna also blackmail me into doing masterclasses and things like. I don't like talking all the time. I feel like our business has so many people talking all the time.
But I want you to talk.
It's one of those things that I think I'll finally be compelled to do it because for me it feels like it should be common knowledge, but it's not. Even as a group, as the whole Africa Rise, I impart that knowledge with the designers that are within the store. But I feel like, that's just like 40 or 50 people, we could digitize this and more people could learn that there's better ways to create product. Sure. So soon, hopefully. Soon.
You'll do that.
Yeah.
2023 and fashion, what are your inspirations of this year? Tell me about your recent collection.
I showed it SA Fashion Week. The last time
I need to, that's why I'm asking.
Was like 2008. So this is like 13, 14, 15 years ago.
How was that like? First,
very interesting.
Sure. Scary?
No, not at all.
Because you're over those parts of being scared.
I'm over because the thing is that the nicest thing about a fashion show is like a tasting menu. It's like, let's say a bride wants a cake. You just make 5 or 6 cakes.
Yeah.
They will like something. Yeah. So it's really a tasting menu. Say, guys, this is what I'm proposing for the season.
Sure.
Some things will have immediate love from an audience, but also remember the customer is the true judge as well at the end of the day. So you want to please those who are looking at the clothes, but also remember that the people who talk and interact with clothes are not always the people that are buying clothes, So there is the reality that you must balance. But it was exciting because I was reiterating who my woman is.
Okay.
She hasn't been back at SA Fashion Week for a decade and a half. Oh my God. I was showing at AFI and then I stopped showing altogether to focus on the retail side. And it was fun to just show a very glamorous woman, very sleek. And the print this season I focused on was the protea. I love flowers. I love these tulips are beautiful. But I love proteas, but they don't get any love. Everybody just thinks the poor guy. I don't know those type of
I should want to say that. Sorry.
So I said, no, I love proteas. Let me use them in a digitized print. So we just manipulated that for scarves, for dresses. And also beautiful outerwear. Because not a lot of designers can really create beautiful coats, beautiful jackets, and that's something that we're very good at my studio. So just really flexing my muscle to say, this is Swan.
I'm back. I'm back. Oh, you never left, but like...
I never left, but like just a runway circuit to be like, reiterate what I am, what I stand for, who my customer is. And she's a woman that gets things done,
Okay.
And she's that gal.
I love it. So with that woman, I want to go to that woman, right? If another woman is not that person, do you hope that your woman can inspire that out of them?
Absolutely. I always try to describe to people that my customer is somebody that can buy anything in the world and she chooses to buy my product, but she's also that customer that needs to save up for 3, 4, 6 months to buy a piece from me. And if those two people find value in what I create, that's when I know that I've created a beautiful product, I've created a beautiful brand. Because if somebody had to save up to get my stuff, it means it's worth it for them. And if somebody who can buy Chanel ready to wear, like some of my customers, some of my customers, but they choose to buy what I do, which costs them nothing in comparison to what they can afford. But they find value in my product. That means I've reached that sweet spot where I create something that has visual value, but also material value as well to them. And that's really it, just showing customers that I value you. I love what I do. I love you. This is not a hit and run. I want you guys to enjoy the product. It will last you forever. It's not going to be obsolete. I'm not tricking you. This is an item of beauty, is an item of worth. And you're worth it.
Let's get sentimental. How does that make you feel? When people choose you over everybody, come to you.
It's such a comforting feeling. And for me, I'm one person. I always say I have like the opposite of imposter syndrome. I know what I'm doing. And I think that creatives need to shake it off. Life is already tough for us. If you've made any headway, it's against all odds. You're good. Stop wasting your time. Own it. So I'm good at what I do. But there's lots of choice out there. So when people decide to purchase your product, that is something that it never gets old. And I sometimes see the product running around and I'm like, I see people and I'm like, yeah, so this is cute. But it's really beautiful, and especially for us, we have retail spaces in places like Sandton or whatever, and shoppers come in with paper bags from all these other brands and stuff, but they still find things in the store that speak to them. And now I can do the same for other designers and build up their confidence. Because we have a lot to catch up on, and a lot of it is internal work within ourselves where we don't feel worthy. And I'm like, you are good. I don't care if you're making this jewelry in Soshanguve. It belongs in Sandton, where people that know beautiful stuff and they can pay what it's truly worth. Because a lot of us as creatives, we come from very tough backgrounds and we are being kept there, say, no, sell your stuff there. But it's impossible as a creative to grow from those circumstances because the people around you, they're also going through a tough time. And they then give you a false impression. Like if let's say you're swapping things from your mom's garage, somebody comes, they can see, I'm not going to pay 1,000 for this. I want to pay 300. I can see, you need it. You agree to 300 rand. They leave, they're happy with their product. They go tell somebody else. So you'll stay busy making 300 rand skirts for the rest of your life, and you'll never break that cycle. Of having your product sell for what it's worth. So with me, it's about creating a retail platform, people producing from wherever they are. We've got designers who are producing from rural Eastern Cape. But taking the product to where it can really be appreciated. So that for me is the key to unlocking true value in this country for us creatives.
So I was smiling a lot because I love your confidence. And a lot of the times as Black people, I think, as if it's Black people only, but we're told to be humble. But in being humble, we sort of dumb ourselves down.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I mean, we can only speak for ourselves. And our experience is that, but you need to be forceful. You need to know what you're good at. And for me, I look at who's around me. Come on, I've got eyes. I can see.
Hello.
It's like somebody else, you know what you look like. Because you can see how everyone else looks like. So you're like, I know where I fit in. Same with talent. You look around, you're like, okay, I keep it.
I love it.
And at the end of the day, the customer also decides. But that's, I think, what breaks the confidence of creatives is that, when you're stuck in a place with other people that are going through a really hard time. And, us as Black people, we're still going through a hell of a hard time in this country. And when you're trapped within that bubble, whether it's in a very rural location or Okukasi, you sometimes can lose faith and lose hope and lose confidence in your skills. But we are very talented. South Africans have got no idea. That's why every time we enter these LVMH competitions, we keep on winning. We can create our own music genres that become international. We are talented. We've always been talented. Who some people, whatever, but she's a talented woman, international sensation. Okay, for we've got talent. This country is, and even just where we are geographically, we are so far away from everyone else that we need to create our own trends. We need to create our own reality. But we're also still connected enough when it comes to language and logistics and technology that we're up to date. So we're very unique from other countries who are perhaps too close to the West. So they tend to mimic the West.
We start from the bottom.
And our pianos because
they reach there.
And we'll eventually get to them. So we are very unique with that. And even our fashion, we've got designers that are so talented, like Botebe, Rich, Cindy. So all of us, where what we create is so unique because we've got such unique circumstances in this country where we are creative, but we're also practical because we gotta eat. And unlike other places where their designers are people who are highly classed people, especially West African designers, when you find out, the husband is whoever or the mother is whoever, you're like, oh, well, they don't need to sell anything. They're fine, So we are different. We got to eat.
We're practical about this.
So there's that practicality that is so beautiful to what we do. So it's creative, but it's also very pragmatic. And it resonates with so many people around the world. So I just wish our departments of arts and culture would just put money behind us, real money, because we can export our pop culture. You look at places like Korea where they actively export their the actual pop culture. We need that because we are pop culture, fashion, music, art. I mean, people like Nelson Makamo are literally dictating tastes of international art. But they're not getting the kind of support they should be getting.
It's the heartbeat of...
And we are just this little country at the bottom of Africa. But the kind of impact we've got globally and we've had throughout these ages continues. So you know what? It can only go up from here.
You've done a lot. Do you still dream bigger than where you are? I mean, you are there. You want to go there.
I do. But now I want to do it for everybody. You know, when I first started my career, it was all about me. Because there's things you want to do for yourself just to prove you can do it. And then you get there and you're like, no, I want everyone else here with me because
it's boring. Now I'm alone.
And it's not that difficult because some things, you know, I know everyone wants to hear some sort of, it was such a challenge. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. You know,
you keep saying that. No, guys, look, it's just that.
It's just, you know, it's so simple.
Yeah.
It's really so simple. Our challenges in this country are systematic. You know, it's other people putting barriers in front of us. It's not us. The moment you move those barriers from in front of Black creatives, we excel.
Yeah.
You know, so I always say to people, like, once you get into a shopping center, you're printing money. But to get in there, good luck. That is the difficult part. But once you're in, you're sorted.
Yeah.
You will not have to worry another day in your life.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, oh, I can do that for other people. And they can see it from the inside. You see, I told you.
Yeah.
This is how it works. But I want to do more. You know, I want more stores, more Africa-Rise stores. I want us to have a bigger footprint. I want to explore the continent. And I'm obsessed about the African continent. I really don't care about anything else. I've done Europe. And there's nothing there. You know, I want to tell you, there's nothing there.
Really?
The markets are so stagnant.
Please tell me there's nothing.
Their markets are stagnant, especially for fashion. And everything is quite rigid that side. You know, here there's so much room for growth. You know, that's why a lot of international companies are coming here.
Yeah.
But then we are being told, no, go there. You're like, then why are you coming here? You know?
So you can go be stagnant.
You know what I mean? So we have got the growth. We've got the footprint here. And, you know, you look at even brands like Tshepi Tshabalala, they are very strong in Italy.
Yeah.
That's why if things can go wrong for them in China or whatever those goofas that they do there, they can still retract back to the heart of their business. And you need to build from home. And those are the things I've told people like Tshepi. I'm like, listen, build from home. Then you always have a foundation. You build your customer base here. You can always give them what's left over. This is where the party is.
Right.
And we've passed the 1.4 billion mark in terms of population on the continent. The innovation is here. The creativity is here. And we have a chance to rethink what success looks like. Success is not working for Christian Dior for 30 years. And then when you're 55, they throw you out. And that's not success as a creative. You know, it's not. There's different ways to be successful. It doesn't also mean buckets and buckets of money. You know, there's other ways to enjoy life, to give back, to be part of your creative community. And I think as Africans, we can dictate a new way of being.
Sure. Africa Rise is proof that you are in love with collaboration. Yes. Nay? Where does that come from? Your love for collaboration?
I love being around creative people. It like recharges my battery.
You're smiling.
It really just, I love it. Even when I look at all my pictures sometimes, you know, I'm always with other fashion designers. Even when I started my career, I started around 2007. And at that time, there was like budgets for everything on this continent. There was fashion shows happening, Ghana, Senegal, Mali. So us as designers would all meet at these shows and we are still friends till today. But because of that kind of mix and that collaboration and us all being part of each other's journeys, I've just learned to love creative people. I love that we can also understand each other because we've got very specific challenges that are very industry specific that you can't really describe to other people, you know? So, I just love being surrounded by creative people. I love that we are solutions-based. I love that we see the world a little bit differently.
Sure.
And that we can also help each other in a way that really matters.
But is that a reality for the greater community of designers? Collaboration, that is.
Growing.
Right.
It's growing. I mean, a lot of also designers now are like best friends. Like Msukisi from Imprint.
Okay.
He's best friends with Mpumi from Ezoketo. Okay. A lot of designers are actually very, very close friends. You'd be very surprised. But of course, it's a competitive industry. And the competition comes from inside and outside. Because customers as well, they pit us against each other, media. It seems fun, but mostly once we're in a room together,
it's fire. It's a party.
It's like singers. They love each other. You know what I mean? Because you love the other person's voice, even if it's very different from you. You're like, oh, that component of your tone, I wish I had that. So we're having more of that appreciation for each other. And also seeing that we go further together. And also that the customer is so matured right now that they just wear things mixed up all together. They couldn't give a damn.
Sure.
So there's nothing to compete over. We just need to get better at what we do.
Yeah.
And clearer with our own voices.
Sure. A cliche question, but a very necessary one. What's your motto? Your mantra, your motto.
My mantra? Just do it. I
Just
really feel like just do it. I'm loving it. I just feel like, a lot of we're paralyzed by fear a lot. I'm not a fearful person at all. And but I thank my parents for that because, with their own financial journey, being part of a small family, the ups and downs, having to move back here, downscale this, and realizing, it's not a train smash.
Yeah.
So I've had like financial challenges within my business, bad partnerships, closing stores, opening stores, but it doesn't do anything to you as long as you're still you and you've got the ability to create. Life carries on. So don't be so fearful, especially Black creators. We are very fearful. I know we don't have a safety net.
Yes.
But at the same time, we have a community. We might not have the other things that other people have. Yeah. But we have community, we have family. They might not have that. They might have resources, and that might be their safety net. But we have family, we have community, and that's something we need to cultivate more of. As creatives, from filmmakers to actors to fashion designers, that's what we need to cultivate, because also the lack of that safety net, if it's just the perception of it, is what keeps us from taking the risks that we need to take.
Right now in South Africa, for all creatives, designers, and all sorts, is it an exciting time? Do you think it's like...
It is.
It's a party.
The most exciting time. Financially, it's the most difficult time.
Okay.
The cost of living crisis globally, it is taking a toll on everybody. But we are creators in this country, and we are good at creating. And finally, we are seeing more kind of like cross-genre collaboration. Like even if you look at social media content, there'll be a visual artist working with a fashion designer, so we're not even in those little silos we used to be in. So it's very exciting. And also younger and younger people are figuring out that, yes, I might not need all of the trappings and all the equipment, but if I've got one good camera and I've got my legs, I can create something, So it is exciting. I wish it could just be made easier, and systematically it could be made easier by all these government departments and all of these things that could really be supporting creatives.
Sure.
But again, that's a pipe dream for another day.
Okay, yeah. So now with you back at SA Fashion Week, do you see yourself coming back more and more? Was it ignited that love? You're like, yes.
I enjoyed it. You know what made me actually start is that in December, Gavin Raja, I used to work for Gavin after I left Flisco.
Sure.
Amazing designer, amazing business person. Fired me because he said, you need to start your own brand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So nothing bad, just go away. Yeah.
You need to do your own thing. He invited us, like, for years he was saying, no, come and do it. I was like, Gavin, no, I'm done with shows. I do newness. I put it in the store. I put it on social media. My customers know the stuff is there. But December time, I was like, okay, fine, I'll come and do the show.
It.
I loved it so much. Then I said, okay, I want to do a show again.
Yeah.
It's a fashion week was happening. I said, you know what? Let me go do that. I enjoyed it so much. I want to keep doing it because I enjoy it. But the moment I stop enjoying something, I stop doing it. But I'll definitely be showing again.
You're very decisive. Like you're very...
That's my thing. I'll just say to people, my whole thing is that I'm very decisive. So I make my mistakes quickly, I recover quickly.
Right.
Some people procrastinate and they protract something into something that's not. Very decisive.
So when you fail now, you wake up, you stand up now.
And I can look back and say, okay, I did this, that, I did that wrong, I did this right.
Sure.
And I keep it moving.
What has been that one very big lesson throughout your career?
That
topples all of them.
Leave business partners. You can do it on your own.
Okay.
Especially fashion creatives.
Yeah.
People with money won't help you. There's nothing they can do for you. You need money now, but you start making money and then you're stuck with a bad character.
Yeah.
So hold off on those, getting a business partner or whatnot. You're tying an albatross around your neck. Rather work with organizations that can support you or something that's a body, not another human being with two eyes and a big mouth. So that's my thing. That's the big lesson.
Sure. All right. So now in life, now we move out of fashion. Hang on. In life, where do you find yourself now? How would you describe this place that you're in right now?
happy. I've got everything I need, but also
The smile says
I'm a chronically happy person.
Okay.
I'm like happy most of the time.
Yeah.
But also I've always been realistic about the things that I really want, and not things that I'm told to want. Because also sometimes we get so mixed up with the two things. But when I left Klerksdorp to come to art school here, all I've ever wanted was a life of my own and to control my own time.
Right.
And to be able to go on holiday every now and then, and to have people appreciate and understand my work.
Yeah.
I got that 5 years into doing my job, and I've had it ever since. So I'm very happy. I can't be happier than I am right now. I don't think it's possible.
You're going to explode
Yeah.
into little butterflies everywhere. So somebody's watching our interview right now. What's the one thing that you want them to take away from it?
I want people to understand that they have a power within themselves. And if they're creative and there's something that they want to do, they need to find a way to do it. There is a way.
Yeah.
You just need to make sure that you listen to the people around you in terms of like, find your customer, find that person that appreciates what you do, and grow from there. Because sometimes they're not in your community, then you're thinking, oh, nobody understands or like what I do. We've got the internet now. Seek out your community. It is so important. Those are the people that will build you, reinforce you, educate you, and take you to the next level. They might just not be in your immediate vicinity because of our realities. But I mean, like, if you live in Naledi and you're into punk rock and you're creating this punk rock aesthetic, there's people who are into that. They might not be on your street, but they're out there. Reach out to them, find them, build your community, and build the life that you really want to have.
Sure. And this is regardless of the economical climate. This is regardless of all these things that are happening. Your dream matters and can be realized in South Africa.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, those realities also do matter. I'm not saying,
live like...
Yes. I'm one person that truly understands that, we are all functioning under very difficult circumstances, and we are dealing with a very heavy legacy as Black creatives. And there are many, many roadblocks and hurdles that should not be there, that are still there, because the people who are supposed to remove them could not be bothered because they don't affect them. They live a life above us. They are on another planet, and they've got bigger concerns than our little lives of trying to make it day to day. But you have to soldier on. You have to find happiness. You have to find success that really matters to you. I'm not talking about wanting to be a millionaire. I wish people would stop with that. Hoarding money won't solve your problems.
Right.
Finding what really makes you happy. Is it a passion? Is it helping people around you? Is it being heard? Is it being understood? What is it that truly makes you happy?
Right.
And achieve that. And also try and make it easier for other people. If you're going to be an employer, try and make the world easier and better for other people. It might just be the 5 or 6 people you work with, like I do. I've got maybe a team of like 20 collectively.
Right.
But for those 20 people, their lives are much better.
Yeah.
Because I, as an employer, be like, hey, let's do this. You work 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. You're off for 2 weeks. Go follow your passion. Go do what you need to do. You need to go to holiday. Go on holiday. But
can they multiply you? Can they multiply you?
But I mean, that's how life should work. Where there's a certain outcome that I want. No one needs to come to work every single day to make that a reality.
Yeah.
We all just need to do enough to make it all work and then live the rest of our lives. It's unfortunate we find ourselves living in this capitalism. But to find entrepreneurs replicating systems that are unnecessary. And there's no reason why you're doing it. You just, that's how it's done.
COVID even showed it. COVID showed us.
You know what I mean? Like there's different ways to do stuff and still get your outcomes. But people can be doing it from home. People can be doing it 3 days a week. People can be doing it remotely. We can make life better. I mean, like what I can't do instead of big paychecks or whatever, I can do with, leave days or less hours and find ways that are just better for people. So I want entrepreneurs to do that, that when they go into being entrepreneurs, they're not going to go and be like little captains of industry and try to mimic all these rich dad, poor dad nonsenses. Especially Black entrepreneurs, we need to be the difference. Somebody needs to be like, oh, I work for a Black person. That's why I can be here doing this with my kids because I've got free time and I've got this. We need to be that change. We cannot perpetuate things that did not even work for us. But now we are in charge, but we're still doing them and no one has got a gun to our heads. So that's my thing.
And wrapping it up, then my last question will be about the product itself, right? we would hear, black businesses, this, and the other, because sometimes we are maybe served. This is a big maybe, please don't kill me. A big maybe that we served with subpar type products, or it's the attitude or what, On that part of entrepreneurship, what would you say to entrepreneurs?
No, this is, for me, it's a tough one. Not tough, but we don't have enough time to unpack this.
Yeah.
But people that feel like they're supporting black business are very problematic, because they don't support white business, they just buy. So they're a problem to start off with. And we are businesses just like everything else. The same way your phone and your cell phone network sometimes steal your data. You don't go screaming, white businesses are defrauding you, which they are. You know what I mean? So we also have got issues within ourselves. And but at the same time, as entrepreneurs and business owners, we also need to always step up and give the best that we can and have transparency and very good ethics as well. And great communication. And I mean, these things are all learned.
Yeah.
But we should always strive for honesty, because that doesn't need to be learned. Right. If you promise somebody something, you need to deliver it.
Yeah.
If you can't, you need to communicate that. And those are small things, but those things make a difference. And they make a very big difference even in the response of the person.
Yes.
A person that's been communicated with won't go and have a tirade on social media.
Yeah.
But if you keep avoiding them and keep ignoring them, well, you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
So ethics, please. Ethics on both sides.
Yeah.
And even as black consumers, we need to be so, not patient, I hate the word patient, as if one should expect subpar, but we need to be cognizant of the environment and the context in which we are, in which we operate, and also see are we behaving the same way when we enter other types of businesses. I mean, we're in a black country and you say something like black business, that already tells you there's something rotten in Denmark.
Yeah.
That most business that doesn't have a prefix, white business is business. And then there's a small little thing that's black business. And somehow this black business can somehow get more pressure and more backlash, and it must perform or else. Whereas this other business, they can lose your orders, they can chow your airtime, they can do whatever. And no one ever calls them what they are.
Sure.
So we need to be cognizant of both spectrums.
Sure.
But we're going to a good place. We are. I think together, with patience, with ethics, with honesty, with transparency, we'll get to where we need to get to.
And together, Africa will rise.
Yep.
Hey. Thank you so much for making time. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.